This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
World Championship Racing gets even bigger in 2019, and it is time that we kick off our second World Championship on the iRacing service. Round one of the 2019 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Championship at Volusia Speedway Park is coming at you right now. Prize money has gone from $10,000 up to $25,000. Things are going to get really dicey over the championship over the next couple of months. But let's first things first, get to our new voice here at RaceSpot for the 2019 World of Outlaws World Championship. Chase Rodman is stood by with Open Reds, Justin Fiedler, and Ross Weiss.
Yeah, we got Justin and Ross Weiss here with us on the iRacing.com broadcast here with RaceSpotTV. Justin and Ross, obviously you guys are well known throughout the real world sprint car scene, but can you explain to us what you guys do? Obviously, you have the Open Red podcast and you both work for the World Racing Group. Can you explain to us your duties and the Open Red podcast as well? We'll start with you, Justin.
Yeah, so obviously me and Ross, we host the show weekly. I'm actually the interactive media specialist officially for World Racing Group. I basically manage and build and handle, updates and things like that for all of our websites between the series and the events. Also manage our social media channels, also involved in digital marketing and any number of other things, including Dirt Vision and our membership programs. So very, very, very busy for me.
And much like Justin said, on top of doing the Open Red podcast weekly, more of my responsibilities more lie in the video side of things. So a lot of work weekly with our Dirt Vision live streaming broadcast with the World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, Morton Building's late model series, getting those live broadcasts to fans week in and week out.
And so we've mentioned NOS Energy Drink a couple times so far. Obviously the new sponsor for the World of Outlaws in the Real World Series, as well as here on iRacing.com now. So it's great to see NOS Energy Drink come on board. They've sponsored a lot of things like the USAC National Midget Series and some other series throughout the Real World Racing scene. What kind of excitement is NOS Energy Drink bringing to not only the World of Outlaws, but here on iRacing.com as well?
I mean, it's a very exciting brand, and it's a very exciting form of racing. So I think getting the two of them together here with World of Outlaws and NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series is an incredible combination. So yeah, they've been nothing but great to work with so far, and I look forward to a very long relationship with them.
Yeah, and so Randy or Justin, you have something to add to that?
No, I was just going to say Nitro Mango all day, NOS Energy flavor, Nitro Mango.
Yeah, I saw they came out with something new, I think a couple days ago. I forgot what the flavor was. I've tried a couple of them, but I haven't tried any of the new ones. But, Randy mentioned earlier about the prize pool is going up from $10,000 last year up to $25,000 this year for a racing game online. Got to remember this. This is a virtual game we're talking about. $25,000 on the line. $10,000 if you win the championship. How does that affect the week-to-week racing, you guys think, here on the virtual scene?
It's only going to get more intense with the way iRacing has this qualifying process set up. It's the best of the best of the guys in the sim that have made this series, and I hope we can get some really high usage track states for them here, where it's going to be really tricky, and guys are prone to make mistakes, because mistakes are going to be what wins and loses races in the overall championship in this deal.
And Justin, I don't know if you have.
Honestly,
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, honestly, I think, you know, and I was just talking to somebody the other day about this. We're to the point with sim stuff that it's not just, you know, games anymore. Like this is real. This is, you know, it's an opportunity for people to compete, you know, it just at a little bit different level. But I mean, more money on the line just raises the stakes, and I think you'll see the competition ramp up because of that.
I think it's pretty cool also, guys, how some of the real world, you know, sprint car team, Casey Canes, you know, Craig Kinzer, Tony Stewart, and even Kevin Swindell's come on board as well. It's pretty cool to see how those guys have found drivers and have now sponsored cars, you know, here online on iRacing.com, right?
I mean, yeah, esports is a you know, very growing and active, you know place right now in the overall sports world. So it's, you know, all these real world entities want to be a part of it because of how exciting and dynamic and growing and the potential that esports has to show, I think. And it's only reaffirmed as more and more of these real world entities throw their hat into the ring and become a part of it.
Yeah, and so this is the second year, obviously, of the World of Outlaws iRacing World Championship. What did you think, Ross? I know you're really, you know, involved with iRacing. Justin, I haven't really heard about you too much on iRacing, but what did you guys think of the first year, and what are you really looking forward to here for the second season of World of Outlaws here on iRacing?
Well, once I got over my bitterness last year of only missing the pro series from the qualifiers by maybe 10 or 15 spots in the standings, it was really fun to just sit back and see how it played out on a week-to-week basis, because there's so many good guys that make this series and are able to compete any given night that, you know, much like the real world with the World of Outlaws and NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, literally any of these guys could wind up in victory lane at the end of the night.
My iRacing skills are not great, as Ross can attest to. I've attempted on a few occasions to play with him a little bit, and he is dramatically better than me. So if he can't do it, I'm probably not going to attempt much here. Just as in real life, I would not jump into a World of Outlaws sprint car against any of these guys, and the guys that race in this series online, I definitely certainly wouldn't do that either.
Well, Justin, you know, you can always start out in the old dirt street stock, you know, class. It's pretty fun. It's a little bit slower, might be more to your style here, but you know, we're talking about the World of Outlaws iRacing.com World Championship Series here for the Sprint Car Series. We've got a couple more minutes till our heat races. Ross, I know you kind of have some behind the scenes, you know, action here on iRacing about things, what's to come in the pipeline, you know, if so to speak. Do you know anything that we might be seeing here in a couple months? I don't know if you can reveal any secrets. I know you have an alpha account and stuff like that. Is there anything we should be looking out here as far as the sprint car stuff here soon?
I'm afraid I'm sworn to secrecy.
Okay, well, obviously we've had Kokomo has come on board, and that's the newest track besides the Chili Bowl. We won't be running that with the sprint cars, but it's great to see a track like Kokomo come on board, right, Ross? And that's one of Indiana's baddest bull rings, and to bring the virtual sprint cars there is going to be a pretty exciting one.
Yeah, I look forward for iRacing to continue growing and expanding their dirt offerings. You know, we know with the big voting they did last year that, you know, there's a lot of racetracks coming. So it's you know, there's a lot of really cool stuff coming down the pipe. I look forward to seeing what happens with all of it.
Awesome. All right. Well, Justin and Ross, we appreciate you guys coming on tonight to preview the first race of the 2019 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series Championship here on iRacing.com. We hope you guys enjoy the race, and maybe we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good luck to everybody this year.
There they were, our two guests bringing us the opening. And Chase, it's always great to have guys that are affiliated with the real series take it so seriously, and I will say it's a really unique factor for the World of Outlaws World Championship. Have someone like Ross, who not only partakes like with these pre-race shows, we've had of course NASCAR people involved, but Ross is the only one I know of who really regularly races on the series, and like he said, he barely missed out on this World Championship last year.
Yeah, I would have been really excited to see Ross go out there and, you know, make the championship series on the point standings. I also missed the championship as well that same year. Me and Ross were kind of going tooth and nail there for the last couple of spots in the Sprint Car Championship. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it either, but, you know, I'm a little bit better as a broadcaster, I think, than a racer. I was all over the place out there, but I'm really excited there, Randy, to see how this all plays out here tonight. Volusia, in my opinion, and I'm not just saying this because it's the first race of the year, but I think this is the most racy track as far as a bottom and a top go throughout the entire night.
probably is going to be. It's a very racy track indeed. And before we get to your starting grid for Heat Race 1, you're going to see some new names and, of course, drivers coming in through the qualifying series. Some drivers from last season potentially missing out. And you will see some new teams as well. We have had a handful of big names in dirt track racing, such as Casey Kane, the Kenzer family, as well as Tony Stewart Racing, all involved. And, of course, Mode Motorsports. I believe we have actually seen Mr. Kyle Long involved in the chat. But first things first, let's get down to some heat racing and open it up for the first time in 2019. Starting grid for heat race number 1. Quick time of the night goes to last season's heartbreaker, Alex Bergeron, starting on pole in row number 1 with Nick Cooper to his outside, Joel Berkeley and Matt McKinney on row number 2, Britton Roxbury and Cole Newhoff in row 3, Robert Kerstetter and Bobby Sant Jr. on row 4 with Jesse Dawkins rounding out the top 5. And, well, I see it on the wings of one of those cars in row number 2, if not multiple of them, and I think it'd probably hurt me if I did mention them as well. Twindale Speed Labs coming on board. You can't forget a family that has, what is it, a 10 Chili Bowl wins between dad and son?
I think it's close to 10. I think it's about 8 or 9. I'm pretty sure it's 8 or 9, but yeah, I mean, one of the most prolific, names as far as sprint cars and midgets go, with Kevin Swindell and Sammy Swindell and Jeff Swindell even. They're an incredible family. My favorite guy, Kevin right now has put so much into this iRacing.com World Championship Series for the sprint cars. He's got each driver has their own paint scheme. He put out an entire video yesterday on Facebook and Twitter that was highlighting the start of this series here tonight. And Kevin is so involved with these drivers. He helps with the setup. He does everything trying to help these guys, put Swindell Esports at the top of the boards here.
Let's see what's going to happen as they finish their first of 2 pace laps. They will do one more quick tour around the racetrack, and our first heat race will be going after it. Quick rundown of the format. 4 heat races here tonight. The top 4 from each will go directly to the feature, and then we will have a twin B main format. The top 2 from each B main will go from the feature. It's not a C main and then a B main. 2 from each race will go into the main event tonight. So, as we get ready to let them loose for the first time in 2019, watch for that iRacing safety truck and watch for that yellow and black number 12 of Alex Bergeron to get on it, because he's going to be looking to nut up and outball him, and he's going to get on it, and we are green in 2019.
Yeah, Bergeron with a great start. Immediately to the bottom of the racetrack goes the 12 car. Like I was saying earlier, Randy, the bottom of the racetrack here, you see like at Eldora and stuff like that, the top of the track seems to be more dominant. But at Volusia here tonight, you'll see guys right on that inside wall, and you'll see guys up there towards the edge of the moisture trying to work the top of the racetrack. But early on, I think the middle towards the bottom will probably be the place to be.
Already coming towards lap number 2 and in towards lap number 3. Bergeron with not a large gap over Joel Berkeley, who gets a good start and jumps from 3rd up to 2nd. Britton Roxbury running in the 3rd spot with Matt McKinney all over the back of that 421 car, but he's actually in danger of losing a transfer spot as the 35 and Nick Cooper is trying to get one of those coveted top 4 positions.
Yeah, Cooper, we went on board them right there. Now he looks to the inside. Might have been some contact right there entering turn 1 between Nick Cooper and Matt McKinney. McKinney in the Swindell Speed Lab Esports car, and the 35 and Nick Cooper down to the inside. He's going to take that transfer spot away from McKinney, but McKinney fight back on the outside there, Randy.
Just like Chase said, this track appearing very racy. 4 laps down, 4 to go, as Bergeron has opened the gap a little bit over Berkeley. Roxbury in the 421, not safe as well, as Matt McKinney is right off the fuel tank of that number 421 car.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see Matt make any kind of dive bomb maneuver here. It's obviously this is the way that you win a championship. Is this first race. This is what sets the bar for the entire season right here. You do not want to screw it up here in the first race, as Nick Cooper continues to pressure Matt McKinney with only a handful of laps to go here. Alex Bergeron continues to show the way.
Couple laps left in heat race number 1, and Bergeron has all sorts of pressure getting applied to him, and a little bit of contact as well, as the 9 of Joe Berkeley shoves the bumper into the 12 car. I see some slipping and sliding in the back. We may have had a car lose the transfer spot. No, it's just Nick Cooper falling a little bit further back. The 9 will slot it up the inside to try and take this race lead in 3 and 4. Can Alex turn it back down to the bottom, drag race to the finish, and Alex Bergeron is going to win heat race number 1 tonight. And the finishing order for the rest will be Joel Berkeley, Britton Roxbury, and Matt McKinney, who hold on to those 4 coveted transfer spots, with Nick Cooper as well as Cole Newhoffen, Bobby Sant Jr., Robert Kerstetter, and Jesse Dawkins rounding out the 9-car field in heat race number 1. And talking about this format, Chase, with the twin B mains, only 2 drivers coming from each, it was difficult to transfer out of one of those last chance qualifiers last season. I mean, it's difficult to get out of the heats, but now you only get 1 shot, and it's only the top 2 advancing to the main event. That's going to make it nigh impossible for some of these guys to get themselves into the show.
Yeah, that's what's pretty tough about that format, like you were saying. Obviously, 2 B mains, only 2 cars transfer. I think a lot of guys would rather have that 1 B main with 4 transferring out to give them a better shot, but it makes it more exciting, I think, for the fans at home trying to watch and trying to see these guys go for either a win or for the runner-up spot to make it into the main event. So it's going to be interesting. And after that first heat race there, Randy, I was really expecting a lot more out of Alex Bergeron after his season last year. He was very good, and I thought he would have pulled away right there, but Joel Berkeley put up an incredible fight there, nearly stole the win away from Bergeron as we start to get heat race number 2 lined up here.
It is, of course, a very competitive field. Only half a second separated everyone in qualifying, so it's going to be mighty difficult for anyone to run away from anyone. But let's take a peek at your starting grid. Joe Quinn of Ironman Motorsports on the pole in heat race number 2 is David Heilman on his outside. You're going to have Ricky Sanders and defending 2018 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Series champion Tim Ryan starts on his outside. Lewis Hewitt and Logan Clampett will make up row 3 with Cole Cabré and Vinny Sansone on row 4, and Nelson Webster rounding out the 9 cars here. Very stacked heat race number 2.
Yeah, definitely. We got a lot of good drivers and a lot of good teams here making up this second heat race. Once again, only 8 laps. The top 4 drivers will make it straight on into the feature event. Man, Tim Ryan, interesting to see. As you mentioned earlier, the champion of this series last year did not have the best qualifying effort. Has lined himself just perfectly inside the transfer spot for the initial green flag here. We'll keep it on at Logitech G Altus Esports number 98 cars, as Tim Ryan's got a little bit of work to do. He's got some fast guys behind him. We'll see if he can hold them off.
Let's see what happens as we have a bit of an Ironman Motorsports sandwich with one of them in first and the other one in 8th. And Joe Quinn picks up the throttle. We are green in heat race number 2, and we're side by side near the transfer spots, and our defending series champion has fallen out of one, but he's going to fight it 3 wide down the back straightaway. A bit of contact, and Tim Ryan muscles his way back into the top 4.
Yeah, what a move there by Tim Ryan. That was a gutsy one on the outside right there. You can really get yourself in trouble on that back straightaway wall here. Volusia's a big opening back there and some tires that can really get you stacked up if you're not too careful. It's a guy side by side right there. Lewis Hewitt, it looks like the 73 maybe of Cole Cabry, or Cabry I should say, going at it right there for the 5th spot. That's not the transfer spot, but they're really trying to get after it right now here early in this one. Maybe they'll get it sorted out in time to track down Tim Ryan for the 4th position.
Field pretty much 2 by 2 as David Heilman has taken your race lead after a strong move around the outside. Ricky Sanders wants to pick that 2nd spot up away from Joe Quinn as they head through 1 and 2, and he's going to get the run off the top side. Joe Quinn maybe qualifying a little bit quicker than he can race as he is falling, losing 2, about to lose a 3rd spot to Tim Ryan, and I see a hungry Lewis Hewitt currently in 5th that wants a transfer position.
Yeah, and I can only imagine what Joe Quinn's feeling right now. He had a great qualifying effort, like you mentioned, and right now slipping back, almost out of a transfer right now. He's doing anything and everything he can to hang on to the 4th spot. Joe Quinn, you might see him throw a block right here to hold off Lewis Hewitt and the other drivers behind him, but Joe Quinn right now in trouble in car number 90.
Lewis Hewitt just made a fantastic move to go from 5th to 3rd and put himself into one of those transfer spots. Tim Ryan finally gets the move done and puts Joe Quinn behind him, and he's going to make a move on Lewis Hewitt as well. Still fighting behind as well. Cole Cabré, Vinny Sansone, Logan Clampett. Tight fight there also as Joe Quinn still wants to go for a transfer spot, and Tim Ryan might help him. A little bit of contact with Lewis Hewitt. They're 4 abreast for a transfer position and contact as Hewitt smokes the wall. The 98's around and up in the wall in 1 and 2.
Oh my, and that's on the white flag lap, so definitely no caution coming out for Tim Ryan. But here comes the 49 car of David Heilman off turn number 4. He will pick up the win for Casey Kane Racing in heat race number 2. 2nd spot will go to Ricky Sanders, I believe. Sanders in 2nd, so Heilman with the win, Sanders in 2nd. 3rd spot, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Lewis Hewitt.
Joe Quinn who rounded out. I got the results right here, so don't you worry about it. Joe Quinn in 3rd, Lewis Hewitt in 4th. Logan Clampett, Cole Cabré, Vinny Sansone, Nelson Webster, and Tim Ryan in that 9th spot. That's heartbreak right there for him, Chase. He had some up and down luck last season. Granted, he won the championship, so it was definitely more up than down. But he had a couple rough rounds, and starting this one out is not going to be happy with that because he's basically going to be starting from the back of one of these twin B mains when we eventually get there.
Yeah, obviously coming in as the #1 seed for this championship, Tim Ryan. That is the exact opposite way you want to start off your season right there, ending up 9th in the first heat race of the season. So Ryan, obviously he's got a fast enough car to get the job done as far as it comes to winning an A main event. I'm sure we will see him at the front of a B main. Obviously it's going to be very, very tough to win that B main, Randy, as we start the lineup heat race #3 here.
Heat race #3 and some iconic team names at the front. Swindell Speed Lab Esports and Kinzer Racing Sim Team on that front row. Chase Capre and Alex Smolders in those cars respectively. Austin Tillman and Wayne Williams on row #2 with Rusty Kruger and Dylan Hauser. I have a feeling Mr. Chase Rodman's pulling for that 10 car given the sponsored stickers I see on that thing. Justin Thomas and Anthony Presto will make up row #4 with Kenneth Dake Jr. rounding out the 9 spots. It's good to see in 2019 in this championship chase names like Swindell and Kenzer on the front row of some heat races.
Yeah, it's really cool. I saw a picture. One of my buddies, Chance Crum, actually races sprint cars and micros up in Washington. I think he was at Las Vegas for the Outlaw race there and got a picture with Craig Kinzer, and he was talking about how Craig Kinzer's sponsoring him as far as the esports thing go. I don't think Chance Crum's he's not in the Sprint Car Championship Series, but he's a pretty good sim racer. So I know that Craig Kinzer heavily involved here with this. I'm not sure if he's watching here tonight, but he's obviously got 3 or 4 cars in the field, so hopefully Craig's watching here tonight.
So let's see what we can make happen. We also have Justin Thomas in this heat, so I'm expecting a little bit of Mode Motorsports emotes in the chat from Kyle Long's Twitch page. Chase Capre in command of the field, and he's going to hold him up. Is a K&N driver, and look at what that's going to do to the field. Everyone's all over the place. Chase is going to roll up to the top, and they're 4 wide in the mid-pack, and I think it's going to be Rusty Kruger who's the loser in that one.
Holy cow, who was that? The 57 car? Anthony Leprestos went by 3 or 4 cars right there off turn 4, ran the top of the racetrack and had a big run as those guys were 3 and 4 wide. Keep your eye on the 57 of Lepresto as this one forges on here.
Alex Mulder is doing well, holding on to his second position. You also have the 211, or excuse me, you have the 18 car of Austin Selman running down there on the bottom, making it nearly 3 wide for the race lead. We're seeing all 3 lanes come into account early here tonight, top, middle, and bottom, and they're fanning out everywhere for the front, but Chase Cabre able to finally put a little bit of a gap, and he's going to, I think, start pulling away here. He's currently in 4th, moved his way up there as Dylan Hauser up 2 spots, with the 23 of Justin Thomas is not going to let him take that easy.
Yeah, that's the 4th spot right there. That's the transfer position. Justin Thomas and Dylan Hauser have been battling this entire race. Thomas has it back as he runs the bottom off turn #4. We'll see what the 2 car of Hauser tries right here. We're on board with him now, just behind that left front tire. They both go to the bottom right here in 1 and 2, and now a little bit of contact right there, and Hauser's going to take the spot away from Thomas.
A little bit of contact, and that's one of the things about this season and about these drivers. A lot of these guys not afraid to get a little bit physical when it comes to making the passes, and we've seen that historically from that 2 car of Dylan Hauser. Saw it last season in the World of Outlaws Late Models World Championship, that there was some few races he could put really his program together and get up there to win, and there was on more than one occasion that he got the shoulders out to really dice it up with the race leaders in some of those main events last year. White flag is out though, and it's Chase Cabre in command of this one.
Hauser's not done yet there, Randy. He looks down to the inside of Alex Smolders. He might take the 3rd spot here on this final lap as Chase Cabre shows the way on the final lap. The 39 car of the Swindell Speed Lab Esports number 39. He'll come off turn #4, and Chase Cabre will win heat race #3 here for the iRacing.com NOS Energy Drink World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. A great run there in heat race #3. Saw a great battle going on for that 4th spot there, Randy.
Yep, finishing order for that one is going to be Chase Cabre, Austin Silverman, Alex Mulders, and Dylan Hauser, who hold on to your top 4 transfer positions in that one. Justin Thomas, sure Kyle Long and company are going to be sad about that one, does not quite make the transfer spot with Wayne Williams, Anthony Lepresto, Rusty Kruger, and Kenneth Dake Jr. And talking about what happened with Rusty's there, I mean, with Chase really holding up the field, Chase, it's one of those situations that because these heat races happen so fast, if you get one bad starter, you don't get a great jump, you can oftentimes just have any hope of potentially transferring out of your heat race killed, and that's really what happened from to Rusty. Started 5th, got shuffled back to about 7th, 8th, and 9th really early, and kind of got buried there as heat 4 starts rolling off.
Yeah, you're right there for sure, Randy. As it is with its real-world counterpart, the World of Outlaws in real life, the heat races hardly ever have any type of caution, and it's incredible pace set by the first couple of drivers in the heat race. So once you lose a little bit of ground, it's nearly impossible to make it up in real life, and it goes to be the same here on the iRacing.com service, as we'll see what happens here in the fourth heat race. A couple of teammates up there on the front row.
Got more Swindell representation up front, as it's Adam Elby and James Edens on that front row. Cam Dance and Braden Eiler will make up row number 2, with Blade Witt and Stephen Renaud on row 3. And then Ryan Mayer and Joe Lusk will round out the tail end of the field. We got 8 more laps, guys, before we go 12-lap LCQ. These heat races have been really, really exciting, Chase. Those last chance qualifiers, I think, are going to be even more intense, with drivers fighting out just for a couple spots.
Man, I can't believe how good the racetrack is already. We've seen guys up on the wall in turns 1 and 2. We've seen them on the bottom. We've seen them in the middle. The racetrack, I honestly can't believe it, Randy, how good it is right now for the heat races. I'm excited for the feature a little bit later on. And remember, the guy on the pole this one, the 74 of Adam Elby, actually the very first ever winner as far as the Pro Series goes for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Last year, he picked up the win at the Eldora Speedway. So Elby's definitely one of the favorites heading into this one as we go green off turn number 4.
If he wasn't a favorite before, he definitely is now after a nearly picture-perfect start. And he puts 3 or 4 car lengths between himself and his teammate of James Edens. Braden Eiler of Kenza Racing Sim Team trying to hold on to the 3rd position up top, but Cam Dance is really holding him on. It's down there on the inside. They're going to be side-by-side into 1 as Eiler finds that outside wall and will just about come down and nearly make contact with Dance. And they're going to roll side-by-side into 3 and 4.
And I'd be worried if that was that 5 car. He might have knocked the right rear mud cover off. He's going to get a wheel full of mud. If that, oh, there goes off the wall right there on the front straightaway. The 5 car of Eiler out of control, but somehow has got all 4 wheels stomped around and coming after Cam Dance with that transfer spot.
He definitely is. You also have the 115 of Stephen Renaud in this fight. He's actually the one who's been bumped up to the transfer spot, but Eiler finally hooks up the top side off of turn 4, and he actually knows ahead of the timing beam. Only about a 100th of a second between the two of them as they came across start-finish. So watch that black number 115 of Stephen Renaud, and he's going to try to take this to Cam Dance and Braden Eiler. Eiler working to switch back into turn 1.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see the 115 of Stephen Renaud with no team affiliation, no sponsors on the side of that car, just a plain black wing and body. He looks for the slider to turns 3 and 4 for the transfer spot with the 5 car, Braden Eiler around the outside. He's got it at the line for now with only 2 laps to go.
Only a few laps left in this one. Is down the back straightaway. They are going to run. Adam Elby still out in front by about half a second over his teammate of James Edens. Cam Dance about another further half second back. And then things get tight between Braden Eiler and Steve Renaud. Side by side in the back as well is Joe Lusk and Blade Witt. They are really trying to fight and improve themselves. The 52 of Edens, though, has reeled in that number 74 of Adam Elby. So will the two teammates duke it out for this heat race win? 52 to the bottom, 74 up top. Both cars, they have to have a similar setup running underneath them, so they can make it work on both sides of the racetrack. That'll be mighty fun to watch as Adam Elby's going to hold on to it and win his heat race here with Edens, Dance, and Eiler quickly in tow.
And there might have been some team orders right there between the 74 and the 52. Obviously, it don't really matter if you finish first or second. It's maybe 1 or 2 spots in the feature event. So they just want to make sure they made the feature. Adam Elby with the win. James Edens, both those drivers for Swindell Speed Lab Esports. Then Cameron Nance and Braden Eiler, 3rd and 4th. They will transfer on to tonight's main event. Stephen Renaud, Joe Lusk, Blade Witt, and Ryan Mayer, the 8 drivers that we saw in that heat race. As what's up next there, Randy?
But we're going to have our first B main here, and then just once again, just so everyone, in case we've had some people tune in, format tonight, 4 heat races. We've just finished out our 4th heat race, top 4 from each of them advanced, and now there are 2 twin B mains. It's not a C main, then a B main. It's 2 twins, and the top 2 from each will make up the last 4 cars for the feature event. That will make up the 20-car field that will duke it out for 30 laps here tonight. Starting grid for this one is pretty stacked, considering you're only giving away 2 of these spots to get to the main. Nick Cooper and Justin Thomas will make up row number 1 with Cole Newhoffen and Wayne Williams on row 2. Bobby Sant Jr. and Anthony Lepresto on row 3. Robert Kerstetter and Rusty Kruger on row 4, and Jesse Dawkins will round out the 9 cars in this 12-lap heat race. Those guys starting up front, Chase, they need to make sure they get good starts, and they need to not make a mistake early to get themselves buried in the back. The worst case, I think, if you're a Cooper, Thomas, Newhoffen, or Williams, if you're on those first 2 rows, if you bobble early and get buried in the back here and lose the transfer spot, it's going to be the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in the heat race, obviously, if you're leading the heat race and you got 3 guys behind you that has a little cushion for you, you're feeling pretty good. But if you're leading this B main, you are still on your toes. There's only 1 guy between you and not making the feature event. So Nick Cooper on the pole this one. He's probably going to jump out front here at the beginning, but he's definitely not going to be taking it easy. He's going to be driving his tail off here to try and stay in front of these 9 drivers, because one little mistake and he might get freight trained to the back of the field and not make the first main event of the season.
Yep, we've already seen what happens. As a matter of fact, the driver in this race, Rusty Kruger, we talked about it during his heat race, what can happen if you get caught up in a bobble, even if it's not necessarily your fault. If things come together in not a great way around you, you will get shuffled back to the back early. That is why we find him starting this last chance qualifier in that A spot. So, field will roll off towards 3 and 4. The iRacing safety truck will duck onto pit road, and then it will be the number 35 of Nick Cooper of TTL Esports in command of the field. Let's see when he gets on it. He's going to go early, and everyone else is going to have to react. And I see a bobble in that second row, and that's going to bury a couple of our drivers and pretty much end their night right now.
Yeah, 1 car upside down. I think that was the 4 car of Cole Newhoffen for Casey Kane Racing, so definitely not what he was expecting there on the start of that one. Is Nick Cooper up front leading this one with only 2 laps down. Good battle already going on for the second spot. Actually, that's Newhoffen in the 11, the 4 car. That was actually Wayne Williams that got upside down there on the first lap.
Yep, that it was Wayne Williams. He saw a little bit of a mistake coming from that 4th place starter. So we talked about the fact that you don't want to make mistakes early if you can be competitive, but we saw the big move from the 11 of Cole Newhoffen on the 23 of Justin Thomas. Thomas is going to react to that slider beautifully, and Robert Kerstetter is going to take advantage as well. And Cole Newhoffen is going to go up to the cushion, and he's going to smack that wall a few times. Matter of fact, Kerstetter is going to take the spot away from Justin Thomas as well. So these 2 are fighting for the transfer spot, and that's sort of almost the stereotypical mistake you'll often see drivers make in this situation, Chase. Newhoffen there knows he needs to go forward and needs to pick spots up quickly, but he threw a move that is almost never going to work, and more often than not, with how slick this track is getting, you're probably going to end up doing exactly what Cole did, which is slide up into the wall and more or less end your night.
Yeah, you got to be really careful when you run up close to that wall like that, as he'll get you in trouble really quickly. You tap that tail tank on it, you might get lucky, but once in a while, you will definitely have that front end swing around on you. Here comes the battle for second. Justin Thomas coming back after Robert Kerstetter. These 2 have been battling this entire race, and right now, I'm telling you, I've been in this situation before, Randy, and I'm telling you, we're racing at home on a video game, but these guys are more nervous than if they're racing in real life. Look at them side by side down the back straightaway for the final transfer.
Side by side in different lines all the way around the racetrack as they do nearly a full half-mile circuit. Wheel to wheel, Kerstetter of Tony Stewart Racing holding the bottom. Justin Thomas of Motorsports hugging the top as Robert Kerstetter chops the nose, and they're going to swap positions in towards 3 and 4, and they will go right back to their original alignment as Cam Thomas hold on to that spot. No, not quite yet. Great racing here for the transfer with just 3 laps to go.
And unlike in real life, we have mirrors in these cars on iRacing.com, and Nick Cooper is loving everything he's seen with a full 2-second lead over these 2 drivers as they continue going tooth and nail off turn number 4. Give it to Justin Thomas at the line once again.
And this is what's going to be so tight for these guys, is that both of them have held that second spot at the timing beam on some of these laps, both from the top side and that bottom groove of the racetrack. There's not necessarily a huge advantage one way or another, though there is now with Justin Thomas able to clear that number 27 off of corner number 4.
And it's so hard for that 27 car of Robert Kerstetter to run the bottom. You got to be so patient and wait so long on the gas pedal so you can get that left rear and the moisture down there next to the inside wall. And if he gets on it too early, he's going to be sliding up. Just like as Thomas right rear bounced off the front straightaway wall right there. And that's going to allow the 27 to maybe close in just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Justin has to be absolutely perfect this time by. Doesn't find the wall in 3 and 4, and he hold on to that transfer spot as Nick Cooper will win this LCQ number 1. So those 2 drivers of Nick Cooper and Justin Thomas, they will continue to the main event tonight, and the drivers whose night will be ended a little bit prematurely will be Robert Kerstetter, Cole Newhoffen, Anthony Lopresso, Jesse Dawkins, Rusty Kruger, Bobby Sant Jr., and Wayne Williams. And I have to say, it's got to be that 27 car that probably feels the worst here, Chase. He probably feels that he was so close to making it with the way he was able to fight with Justin Thomas, and that's got to be a frustrating feeling for him. It's one thing if you get wrecked in your LCQ, but it's even worse, I think, to miss out on just that much.
Yeah, he put up an absolutely incredible fight there, Robert Kerstetter and Justin Thomas, and they were clean the entire way. The only time they were hitting something was off the wall. Justin Thomas dang near lost the right rear tire there a couple times, bouncing off the outside wall, but him and Kerstetter put up a good fight there, and I'm sure the fans at home really enjoyed that one, watching a clean battle for the final transfer.
And well, speaking of drama, we're going to be in for it, I think, in this one as well, as on the pole position for LCQ number 2. 44 of Logan Clampett will be on pole with the 115 of Steven Renaud. Cole Cabre and Joe Lusk on row 2. Cole Cabre, the RaceSpotTV Chili Bowl winner from a little bit earlier this year. Vinny Sansone and Blade Witt will start on row 3. Nelson Webster and Ryan Mayer on row 4. And row number 5, Tim Ryan and Kenneth Dake Jr. Chase, defending series champion, at very real risk based on what we just saw, what starting deep in one of these LCQs can do for you. Very real risk of not making the feature of the first race out this season.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now there, Randy, if as long as he doesn't do what Wayne Williams did on that first lap of the last B-main, I think Tim Ryan is going to have a great shot at getting the job done here. Obviously, there's a lot of cars in front of him, but 12 laps is a long time around Volusia Speedway Park, especially if you can nail your line on every corner here. I think Tim Ryan, we'll see him try the bottom, try the top, he'll throw a couple sliders, try to get by some of these guys. Another guy I want to point out here is that 44 car on the pole, Logan Clampett. Randy, I think you know him a little bit more than I do, but I know he's a part of a lot of different world championships here on iRacing.com, the rally cars as well as the Peak Antifreeze series, so he's definitely an experienced driver here in the B-main.
Yep, Logan Clampett definitely one of the few drivers who's really going at it through a lot of these world championships. As we get started in this LCQ, you're going to see drivers really try to fan out. Can the 44 of Logan Clampett, maybe a bit of an underdog in this race, make something happen? Steven Renaud up top trying to hook it up, and Cole Cabre is trying to reel in those cars in front as well, as Joe Lusk is running the top side behind.
I just saw a peek at Tim Ryan back there. He's already gotten by 3 drivers. We're on board now on the top wing of Vinny Sansone out of Illinois. He looks to the right behind that 71 car. They're side by side, Steven Renaud and the 71 of Cole Cabre right in front of him. And Sansone with nowhere to go here, Randy. He is just trying to find a line to go to without going the slick stuff. He looks down to the inside right there as those 2 drivers look like they might have sorted out for the 2nd spot.
And the 98 of Tim Ryan is going to find himself in a similar situation, but he's the only driver sliding it up top, and there's a big opening up there. He's going to get to his first car. He actually makes contact with the outside wall just a little bit, and driver in front of him, the 115 of Steven Renaud, he's going to make a mistake and put it on its side, so he's going to drop out of this fight. Can the 98 of Tim Ryan, with about 8 laps to go, make something happen and get by these guys to get up into the top 2 as the 44 Logan Clampett? Most people would identify him as a NASCAR specialist, but he's doing a beautiful job with throttle control in this big 800 horsepower 410 wing sprint car, just rolling it through the slick on the bottom all the way around this racetrack.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the only real-world experience that Logan Clampett has there, Randy, is at Ventura Raceway in a Ford Focus, maybe on the dirt. So the only real-world experience this driver has right here leading this race is on the dirt. But he, obviously, you've said it, he's well-known on the pavement stuff on iRacing. Look at Tim Ryan, Randy. Here he comes from dead last to the outside. A lot of daylight for him on the top side of the racetrack as these guys all fight for the bottom, but 3 wide for second.
You want to highlight in 2019, Tim Ryan's giving it for you. He's going to pass the better part of 5 cars in 2 laps. He just needs to make it 1 more in the next few. Cole Cabre is going to slide up to try to take that away, and they're going to be 3 wide for the transfer spot in towards 3 and 4. The 98 of Tim Ryan will just about get it, but no, Nelson Webster will hold it for this lap. Cole finds the outside wall, and he's going to drop a couple spots as Tim is going to try to get up and hook the cushion. Can he get the run in towards 3 and 4 he needs? No, the 15 still holds on.
Yeah, the 15 of Nelson Webster right there doing a great job holding on to that 2nd spot. But Tim Ryan from the back, like we mentioned, the 98 car, the former champion of this series, had a terrible heat race, got in a big crash. He's now around him. He's got the spot. From dead last to 2nd, the 98 of Tim Ryan has made the move on the top side of the racetrack, doing his best Jack Hutchfield impression right there.
2 laps to go in this final last chance qualifier. Tim Ryan has passed his way all the way up to the 2nd spot from 9th on this grid. Nearly an impossible feat from what we saw in LCQ number 1, but Tim Ryan, who has been able to be so spectacular through 2018, seems set to keep that same momentum going into 2019. But the 44 of Logan Clampett, he will hold steady through 3 and 4, and as he comes off, he will win this last chance qualifier and transfer along with Tim Ryan into our 30-lap main event tonight. And man, oh man, Chase, all those drivers behind are probably looking at that Altus Esports number 98 thinking, what did I do wrong for him to come all the way from the back and me be looking out ahead of him when I see the checkers?
Man, I don't think they did anything wrong, honestly, there, Randy. Tim Ryan is just that good. From dead last to win that thing, he didn't go to the bottom but one time in the final corner right there. Just full sail on the top of the racetrack, mud cover bouncing off the guardrail, putting on a show for the fans in the virtual stands and the guys at home on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever else we're live at right now. I'm not even sure, but Tim Ryan, what a drive right there. This race tonight pays $300 to win. I right now think that Tim Ryan deserves $300 after that drive right there. That was incredible stuff.
I definitely agree with that. Guys, we have a couple minutes of warm-up before we get to the feature event. We are going to step aside for a moment, have a quick message from a couple of our partners, then we'll be bringing you all of the action from the 30-lap main event tonight. Do not go away. Been an amazing night of racing thus far in the season opener for the 2019 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Championship Series, but we still have 30 laps of the fastest guys to duke it out and fight it out for some of that prize money, because as Chase alluded to, not only is that $25,000 part of the championship fund, but there is a race purse every single night, every single race night. $300 to the winner, $200 to second, and $100 going to third spot. And Chase, you basically just said it. I mean, the driver of that number 98 already pretty much has earned himself a $300 check as far as I'm concerned, but he's got to do it again. He's gone from the back to the front once in that LCQ. He starts 20th of 20 in this main event. Can he get himself anywhere up near the start to maybe not have a terrible round one, if for nothing else, just for his points?
I think obviously Tim's got the car to do it. I just think he's got to be able to dodge a couple of wrecks here at the start of this one. Obviously only 30 laps. That's not a whole lot of time. We're coming from 20th here. So Tim Ryan in the 98 car, he has made some fans. I'm looking at the comments on the Facebook Live, and there's a lot of Tim Ryan fans now out there. He might have to sell some t-shirts after that one. But like you said, Randy, he's got some work to do. He's got 30 laps, but I think he's got to miss a couple of wrecks here, and he's got to go full send. He's got to go where these guys are not going to make his way to the front, as we watch some of these guys in hot laps right now trying to get their final adjustments made to their race cars.
Well, I'm sure Simon Fiegel of Altus Esports team manager will be more than happy to sell you guys some t-shirts if they can work something out. But first things first, before the t-shirts go on sale, we got a 30-lap main event to bring you. Let's go down your starting grid. 35 turned up and only 20 will fight for the win tonight. Alex Bergeron and David Heilemann will be on that front row, with Chase Cabray and Adam Elby making up row number 2. Of course, your heat race winners starting 1, 2, 3, 4. Joel Berkeley and Ricky Sanders will be on row 3, with Austin Selman and James Edens on row 4. Britton Roxbury and Joe Quinn on row 5, with Alex Smolders and Cam Dance on row number 6. Matthew McKinney and Lewis Hewitt will roll off on row 7, with Dylan Hauser and Braden Eiler on row 8. Nick Cooper and Logan Clampett on row number 9, with Justin Thomas and Tim Ryan rounding out the 20-car field tonight. Chase, predictions for this one? Who do you think is going to be strong? Any surprise names you think we might see dice away to the front based on what we've seen thus far?
Well, I think you got to go with some of the guys that are starting inside the top 10. Obviously, track position is so huge in these iRacing.com World Championship Series races, but with this racetrack, how it is right now, Randy, the guys at the Volusia Speedway Park, the virtual tractor has been making some laps. The virtual water truck has done a couple laps, and they have absolutely dialed in the surface here. As we saw on the B mains, the top of the racetrack is good, as Tim Ryan showed us, but if you are patient enough and you are steady enough on that gas pedal, you can really work the bottom on the inside wall right there and make up some ground as well. So I'm sure we'll see some sliders. I'm sure we'll see some guys bouncing off the wall. It's going to be really good, but I think the guys you need to be watching are within those first 3 rows to pick up the win here tonight.
And I think one thing to also watch here, that 12 car of Alex Bergeron starting from pole. I know that he's getting actually a couple real-world wheeling opportunities, I believe in a 360 at some point this year. I almost wonder if he's able to bring it out and take the W here in the season opener if he doesn't go to the team manager and say, hey, I need a couple more rounds on my 2019 in the real car.
Yeah, he was running, I think, at someplace in Canada, and it was a 305 sprint car, and he was doing a great job. I watched the onboard video. I watched the video of that deal, and he was doing a great job for his first time in a sprint car. So you never know. As we've seen with the NASCAR stuff, you know, the iRacing thing can kind of transfer over to real world, as Josh Berry's shown us, as well as William Byron as on the NASCAR side of things. So I think we could see it as well in the sprint cars. We're about to go green here, Randy.
Safety truck ducks down to the safety of pit road, and the 12 of Alex Bergeron in command of the field. Chase Cabray behind, tries to jump it. He's not going to be able to. We are green for 30 here at Volusia in the season opener.
Yeah, Alex Bergeron with the best seat in the house right now as he comes off turn 2, sees no cars in front of him, leads him down the back straightaway. 3 wide for the second spot. David Heilemann's right there, as well as the 39 Chase Cabray. The 74 of Adam Elby, full sail on the top side of the racetrack right now in the 5th spot.
A lot of drivers fanning out up top, most going to the middle and the bottom, though. Chase Cabray is trying to make that top line work, and I believe it's another Swindell Speed Lab Esports teammate. It is Adam Elby running third up there as well, as you still have Alex Bergeron trying to get away from Chase Cabray. TTL Esports Joe Berkeley running that third spot in that very bright white, black, and pink car. We got a car upside down and tumbling in 1 and 2. It is the 5 of Braden Eiler from the Kansas Racing Sim Team. Big damage on that number 5 as we get a replay and get an idea of what happened.
Yeah, I couldn't really see. I saw the corner. Oh, wow. He hits the wall right there, flies up in the air, gets the catch fence, does at least 12 backflips, finally comes to rest. Obviously, the nose wing's gone, and he makes his way back to the pit area. The virtual tow truck will take him back down there, but, man, that's a rough one there for Braden Eiler, as he was running up towards the front right there. I'm pretty sure, Randy, Braden Eiler was doing a great job until that accident right there.
Yeah, he was, and that's going to be unfortunate. That's more or less going to be a race-ending incident for him after that one. I know a lot of people are on Tim Ryan watch, and I know this. I could see some discussion talking about how good that car looked. Tim Ryan passed 2 cars in that opening couple lap salvo, and it actually ends up being in the 17th spot right now after that mistake. And a lot of momentum coming from Altus Esports this weekend. Not only, of course, Tim Ryan running in this World Championship on Monday night, technically really weird Tuesday morning time for him, being from Australia, I do believe. That team winning the GT class in Neo Endurance 24 Hours Le Mans this past weekend. That's one of those teams, Chase, that really gets themselves all over on the sim in the variety of racing types that we have on the sim, from the endurance stuff to dirt sprint cars. So if it's available, they run it.
Yeah, I'm not really all too sure on the road stuff. You know, I don't really pay attention to that, but you know, there's a lot of those teams that venture out to all sorts of racing here on iRacing.com, and I commend them, you know, for finding the good drivers and trying to, you know, make their name known in each type of series. So it's great to see a team like that is, you know, known for road stuff coming over here to the dirt world and having success with Tim Ryan. Obviously, he's made some fans here tonight, and it looks like we're about to go back green, I believe there, Randy. Single file restart.
Yep, single file restarts in this series, as well as a series administrator reminding the drivers, this being, of course, the opening round. First caution of the season, no passing before start finish. But the 12 of Alex Bergeron will be in command of the field once again. Now that things are single filed out, let's see what happens. Where does Alex pick up the throttle? Just about on the Exodus 4, as we are back green to racing here, running lap number 7.
Yeah, Cabray right there in the 2nd spot. Obviously, we talked about earlier, he's a NASCAR K&N Pro Series driver, but don't let it be not known that he is also a dirt micro sprint driver, non-wing micros as well as the wing micros. He was very good at the Tulsa Shootout this year. He's won a lot of races on dirt and the micro stuff. Only people seem to really know him, though, for his K&N Pro Series stuff, but Cabray knows how to get the job done on dirt, and he's looking to try and track down Alex Bergeron up front.
Well, if that's what he's looking to do, he needs to look somewhere else because Bergeron has opened up a huge gap on that opening lap. Going to be about 0.8 of a second as they come across start finish. Actually, it's closer to 9, and it's actually going to be Joe Berkeley just about nosing out into that second spot. But Chase able to keep the momentum up top. Seems like that bottom groove, Chase, has really kind of come away, and you can't quite get the momentum up off the straightaways the way you could early in the night. And that's going to be the difference that allows Chase to slide into second for now.
Yeah, I don't know why not more drivers aren't going up to the top of the racetrack. Your leader is absolutely driving away from the field. Maybe he's got his wing in the right spot. He's made the right adjustments to his car to get the job done. There comes Berkeley now. Takes a look down to the inside of Chase Cabry. And Berkeley now up to second. Looks for the slider into 1 and 2, and he's got the spot the 9 car with a beautiful move right there. Excuse me.
Let's see how long he holds on to it, though, because Chase Cabray did not lift out of the throttle and was able to keep the momentum up. As they come off turn 4, they're going to be wheel to wheel, and it's actually going to be Berkeley who just takes that spot away as they get to start finish. Comes all the way up on the back straightaway now. Cabray shifts down to the middle, and LB is trying to make something of this on the bottom. 3 wide for the second position as Cabray is going to hold on to it. And can LB wrestle away the third spot from Berkeley? No, he can't.
Yeah, LB, the first ever winner of the iRacing.com World Championship Series for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series last year at Eldora Speedway. He's trying to do it 2 years in a row. To the inside, Joel Berkeley goes to 74 of LB. Down to the back bumper of his teammate, Chase Cabry. But they're not even close. Alex Bergeron is absolutely gone in car number 12.
We're approaching halfway here in just a couple of moments as this fight for second, third, fourth, really up back to about 7th has been 2 by 2 by 2. They just now start singly filing themselves out. Adam Elby fighting with David Heilman in that Napa Case of Kane entry, as well as Austin Selman running for Victory Lane Racing. 3 wide between those 3 as they head into 3 and 4. Elby's going to throw the slider. Heilman gets it down to the middle, and Heilman's going to pass 4 cars, and I believe that's going to be Chase Cabray has an issue up top from the front of the field.
Yeah, he made contact with another driver right there. I can't tell who that one was, but a close call. Cabry able to keep on going. He's fallen way back into the 8th spot, and he's losing more positions down the back straightaway. Might have been some damage there. I think it was the 3 car, Lewis Hewitt, who got into him right there on the front straightaway. Now Cabry on board. Oh, he's sideways down the straightaway right there. Loses another spot to the 2 car of Dylan Hauser.
Definitely struggling right now with Chase Cabray as he's gone from running second and third all the way back down to just barely being able to hold on to a top 10 spot. And I don't even know if he's going to be able to do that. As the actual 9 car of Joe Berkeley, he's up in the wall in 1 and 2, able to hold on to it though, fighting for that second position. And he's out clear of Austin Selman. David Heilman has settled into 4th, Austin Selman in 3rd. Adam Elby is in 5th, and he's wheel to wheel with Ricky Sanders.
Somebody needs to tech the 12 of Alex Bergeron after the race. He's got a 4-second lead over Joel Berkeley and Austin Selman right now. My goodness, the 12 car absolutely flying. It seems like those guys might have been messing around with each other a little bit too long there for the second spot. And meanwhile, Bergeron with clean air and no problems in front of him has put full sail to the front of this field, and he's looking to turn on or come out in 2019 with a win here.
There is lap traffic, of course, ahead of Bergeron. Has not quite gotten to it yet, but it is obviously something to keep in mind. I see a car in the wall. Number 3 machine of Lewis Hewitt. We're going to have contact with Chase Cabray, but we're going to stay green as they actually keep it rolling forward. But I think there's going to be huge damage to the car that runs in 14th of Lewis Hewitt, as well as to the 12th place runner, the 39 of Chase Cabray.
Yeah, Hewitt's gotten into it with a couple of drivers here tonight. He might be in a virtual fist fight by the end of this one. The 3 car has some damage. You could definitely tell he's in the back of the field now, about to lose another spot to the number 211 car back there at the back of the field. That is Alex Smolders. It looks like Tim Ryan's back there, as well as the 35 of Nick Cooper.
Still fighting here for all these guys. Nick Cooper still heavily involved. They're going to fan out nearly 4 wide as Chase Cabray tries to get involved with that fight as well. But Alex Bergeron just putting on an absolute clinic. 4.5 seconds out in front of Joel Berkeley as we're getting ready to take 6 to go.
Yeah, look at Bergeron at the top of the racetrack. That car is barely ever turning left, which is kind of weird right here around the Volusia Speedway Park. You usually see these guys kind of turning a little bit more left, but Bergeron backed in on the cushion around the turn number 1 and 2 right there. He's closing on the back of the field, but there's not enough cars there to really, disrupt his pace right now. I don't think, especially with that 4.5 second, almost 5 second lead that he's got, Bergeron doesn't really need to worry as these drivers in front of him running the bottom of the racetrack about to be a lap down.
Yeah, 5 to go here for these guys, and Joe Berkeley, or excuse me, Alex Bergeron will just about get there. But look at this huge gaggle of cars behind. I see Dylan Hauser, James Edens, as well as the likes of Adam Elby, Ricky Sanders, and Britton Roxbury. 4, 5, 6 cars all fighting for position just towards the tail end, actually fighting for the last spot in the top 5.
Yeah, this is a race for 5th, and the guys in front of them weren't there. This would be the best race of all time for a win here in the iRacing.com World Championship Series 4, the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, side by side right there between the 17, the 74 of Adam Elby, and some other drivers absolutely getting after. Here comes Logan Clampett from the B main, Randy. He's about to make his way into the top 5.
We were all keeping an eye on the 98 coming out of the B main. It's actually been the 44 of Logan Clampett from the same race. It surprised everybody. Put in a picture-perfect LCQ and has put in a picture-perfect main event thus far as he goes from 18th on the grid and gets himself into the top 10. He's got the 74 of LB right out in front of him. Will he be able to make something of this and get his way up into that 9th spot as they work through 3 and 4, getting the white flag right here, right now. And as I say that, Alex Bergeron so far ahead, he's already working into corners number 3 and 4, and it's going to be a dominant performance in your runner-up last season. Alex Bergeron wins the season opener at Volusia.
A great drive by Alex Bergeron. I don't think anyone was expecting only one caution in this race, and Bergeron a full at least 5-second victory over the second place car tonight, the 9 car of Joel Berkeley. What a drive by Alex Bergeron. We talked about him a little bit earlier, Randy, that he did a great job in a real-world sprint car last year, and I'm thinking that if he keeps up this throughout the entire season, he might find himself maybe a real-world ride by the end of this deal.
Definitely, I think, a potential thing, especially with so many of these real teams getting involved. Like we said earlier, Swindell, Kenzer, and Casey Kane all involved with this series. But let's take a peek down at your full post-race results here after the season opener. Alex Bergeron leads all 30 to take the victory here tonight, with Joel Berkeley in second. Austin Selman, a really good run for him. I know he didn't have the championship he wanted last season. Going from 7th to 3rd is, I think, going to be what he wants. David Heilman in 4th. Dylan Hauser, he comes from the back as well, 15th up to 5th here tonight. James Edens in 6th. Britton Roxbury 7th. Ricky Sanders in 8th, with Adam Elby in 9th, and Logan Clampett up 8 spots up into P number 10 when it's all said and done. Joe Quinn in the 11th spot. Nick Cooper in 12th. Matt McKinney in 13th, Alex Smulders in 14th, Lewis Hewitt 15th, with Justin Thomas, Cam Dance, Tim Ryan, Chase Cabray, and Braden Eiler rounding out the 20-car field. We're going to take a quick break here on RaceSpotTV. Do not go away. Post-race coverage coming at you in just a couple moments' time.
Race fans, you wanted the best? You've got them. Live on DirtVision.com. Presented by Dry D. The World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. The World of Outlaws, Morton Buildings Late Models. Knoxville Raceway and the Knoxville Nationals. And the Dirt Cars Summer Nationals are all available live. Sprint car and late model fast passes are available now for just $39 a month, with single event subscriptions available as well. From Volusia to Charlotte, Fairbury to Lernerville, Eldora to Macon, and everywhere in between. Dirt Vision has you covered all season long. Every race, live, anywhere, anytime. Don't be left in the dust. Sign up for Dirt Vision today.
We are going to cue the music, and what a fantastic way to start off 2019 for the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Championship Series here on iRacing. And the man of the hour tonight, who was pretty much dominant, was not able to scamper away in his heat race. He was definitely saving it all for the main, with Alex Bergeron, who comes away with a nearly 3-second lead. Stood by now with me, the driver of the 12 car, Alex. Season opener tonight, you got it done, and you were pretty much unchallenged for those 30 laps. Talk me through your night otherwise.
I'd say the heat race was very difficult. Joel was very fast and was wondering what line to run, and you know, the line went to the top in the feature, and it was just good for us. The beginning of the race, you know, Chase was fast too, and we had a caution there, and that helped us out. Trying to gather it back up, and we just pulled away there to the win. We had a fast car for sure. Qualified first. Joe Quinn was fast too. The line was very special in qualifying. We didn't see that much last year in the World Championship, but this is very much like a normal DOB race where it's very slick in qualifying, and you just got to work that throttle out, and that worked out pretty much in our favor.
Now, I got to ask real quick there, Randy, as Alex, I mean, you're one of the drivers in this field that doesn't have a big name team behind you. It's Team ABR, which is Alex Bergeron Racing. So to win the opener here against these big teams, how cool is that?
Oh, it's pretty cool. Thanks to Jason Nygaard. He's been with me for quite a while now. He's working hard with me. We put a lot of work, just dedication, man. That's pretty much what it is. We just want to get it so much, and we just put the work into it, and it paid off tonight for sure.
Now, Alex, 7 days time, we'll be bringing back this series. April Fool's Day race at the Knoxville Speedway. What do you think we're going to see there? Volusia seemed very racy tonight. We're going to see a very racy Knoxville track?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be it's very fun. A lot of good competition out there. The biggest competition I've seen since last year. So it's going to be tough, and the track's going to be very slick. Probably going to run the bottom, the middle, everywhere you want to. Maybe the cushion's going to come in I'm pretty sure the cushion's going to be in for sure. It's going to be tough, but for the fans out there, I'm sure it's going to be a good show.
Well, Alex, before we let you go, once again, congratulations on absolutely dominating this event. And last question, really, who gets it done for that number 12 ABR car?
Oh, like I said, thanks to Team ABR, Jason Nygaard. Thank you to all my partners, as always, Neobi.com, Design Shop at Keeney's, BK Designs for all my paint scheme, Max McLaughlin Racing, Mart Inc. Thanks to Coleman Gulick, my girlfriend for watching, always supporting me. Max McLaughlin and his family for watching tonight. Really, really appreciate it. All the fans out there for watching. It's always a great pleasure. You guys for broadcasting, iRacing for putting this up. Also with Wall of Outlaws. It's starting a good season for sure, and we'll see you guys next week.
There he was. Thanks once again, Alex, and good luck to you next week out in Knoxville.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, congrats, man.
Second place runner tonight. We got to go all the way down under to grab TTL Esports Joel Berkeley, and he made sure that it was a good performance tonight, starting 5th, running his way up to 2nd. Joel, that was a hectic race for you guys, 2nd on back. Alex made it look easy, but the rest of you, I mean, it was a heck of a fight. You guys always swapping spots back and forth. Taught me through dealing with that.
Yeah, that was an awesome battle for 2nd there with Chase, Adam, David, and Austin and all that. I think we put on a good show tonight. Pity that wasn't a late race, I think I might have had some of Alex, but he just classed the field tonight.
Yeah, I was talking to Randy after the race. It was about 6 to go, and Alex had about a 5-second advantage, and then the ending scoreboard came up, and you were only 3 seconds behind, so the 9 car looked like you might have been absolutely rolling you some bottom or something there towards the end and tracking them down. If you think there was a late race yellow, you might have had something there for him?
I think there was a late race yellow, may have had something for Alex, but obviously he was out front from the start, and he got clear of all of us before I got clear of Chase, and about then he had 3-second lead, so it was a bit too late to try and rail it, and I thought I'd just take the points and accept 2nd, and pretty happy with the result.
Yeah, and I was a little bit confused. Sorry there, Randy. I was a little confused that maybe, the 12 car obviously running the top of the racetrack was super fast for him, and I was kind of surprised to not see you or maybe Semmelman or some of the guys behind you try that top of the racetrack. Was your car just not really working that well up there?
I think it was working fine up there. I just didn't really want to run up there and risk it for all first round. We were in a decent spot for the first round championship, so just accept the 2nd and move on to next week.
Now, Joel, talking about you guys, I mean, it's always one of the big talking points of this series. It's a Monday for us in the United States, a nice, comfortable Monday evening, but significant of you drivers representing both Australia and New Zealand. How is it trying to drive like that from what times they have to be? I'm guesstimating about 5 in the morning for most of you guys, roughly.
No, it's 12:03 p.m. right now.
Well, how are you guys on noon on a Monday able to race?
I
think we need a new line of work, Chase.
Well, talked to the work, and since I qualified, trying to made something happen.
Yeah, I didn't even want to try and guess what time it was because I have no clue.
It started at 10:45 a.m. for me, and well, yeah, it's now 12:04.
Well, always good to see you guys, as you guys always do put on a show, and it's one of the great things about this championship, of course, especially it was one of you guys from Australia winning it last season, of course, Mr. Tim Ryan. But Joel, thanks once again. Well done once again on the strong second place finish. Talk me through who gets it done for you guys in that number 9 TTL Esports car.
Yeah, it's a massive thanks to the guys at TTL Esports. Simworks, style designs, down to graphics, all the guys have put in laps last. Well, we put in a fair few laps last week, so back to it and get ready for Knoxville, I guess. I think Knoxville's next week, isn't it?
Yes, sir. April Fool's Day race at the Knoxville, so things will be great. But thanks again, Joel. We hope to see you next time.
You will indeed, and hopefully talk again.
Yep, let's hope so. As we have one more interview for you guys tonight, third place finisher, and it's someone that I know had an up and down season all last year, but I think he's going to be really happy to actually come away with a strong season opener. Austin, come away with a nice third place finish after starting 7th on the grid. Talk me through your night.
Yeah, thanks, Randy. It was a good night. Didn't qualify like I wanted to there. I just missed my line, and I had a pretty good car. Track was really cool. You could kind of run anywhere really, wherever you wanted to. So made the bottom work there, and it's just a nice solid run.
Yeah, so it took you guys a little while. You, Joel, and a couple guys behind you. It took you forever, it seems like, to kind of get sorted out for the second, third, fourth spots right there. But once you kind of got, away from the rest of the field, were you thinking you might have had something for Alex there? Were you kind of just hanging out right there, trying to hang on to third and maybe grab yourself just a solid season opener?
Well, it's a little bit of both, and it was hard because I felt like I could push. I definitely could have pushed a lot harder and moved up and tried to catch Joel, but once I couldn't see Alex anymore, I figured it wasn't really worth wrecking my car or losing spots. So I kind of just was hanging on. Maybe if we had a caution, I would have jumped up there. But it just, like I said, it just wasn't really worth it. I was really good up there in that little warm up, but I passed them guys running the very bottom, so I didn't want to leave it and leave the door open for them. So sometimes you just got to take what you can get.
And Austin, for next week we have Knoxville coming up. April Fool's Day race. It's a completely different format for this championship, of course. And actually, let's talk about that. Last year, we basically went all year from roughly this time, pretty much all the way into October. This time, things a little bit more abbreviated, just doing every championship sort of in one go. How does that affect the mindset, knowing that you're going basically 10 weeks straight without a break before we get into the late models?
I like it personally. You kind of get in a better rhythm. You kind of take what you learned from tonight's track because no one really knew what to expect track-wise, but now we kind of know it's going to be slick, so you can kind of prepare for it better. But I like it. I think it's it's better for the fans too. It's a consistent thing every week, so I think it'll put on a really good season.
Chase, anything else?
No, man, great job. I mean, it was an awesome race. It was only one yellow. I think the fans really enjoyed it, and good luck next week at Knoxville, man. I'll be here. I'll be watching. I'll be announcing it. I'll be excited to be there, man. It's gonna be great.
Thanks, Chase. Great job as always.
There he was, third place runner tonight, Austin Selman, representing Victory Lane Racing in that number 12 car. And before we actually sign off here, Chase, really closing thoughts. Fantastic race tonight here at Volusia. You said it at the top of the show, one of the raciest racetracks we have on the servers, and that's what we have. That's what we had. We saw passes come from the bottom. We saw passes come from the top. We saw passes come from the middle. And it was happening like that all night. It wasn't like there was just a phase, where only the top worked or only the bottom worked. Really, from the drop of the green on heat number 1 to the drop of the checkered on the main event tonight, you could make pretty much 4 lanes work here, really.
Yeah, the track prep crew at the Volusia Speedway Park really made me sound really smart earlier on in the broadcast, man. I was not expecting to be that good in the heat races, but we had guys up on the wall in the heat races, man. It was incredible, and obviously, like Austin was noticing as well, as it was super slick, and Alex mentioned it was slick in qualifying. So I think the track prep crews here for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series Championship here on iRacing have realized that a slicker track really brings out the better racing for these guys. It really proves who has good throttle control and who knows where to put their car at in the best spot on the racetrack. So I think we're going to see the same thing in Knoxville next week. That place gets really slick and gets a big curb on it up close to the wall. So we'll see what those guys do next week for round number 2.
And then, of course, next week for round number 2, we're going to Knoxville. And, on April 1st, predictions, Chase, going into that race. Who do you think is going to be strong, and who do you think is going to come out of there feeling like an April Fool?
Well, I think obviously Bergeron is going to be one of the tough guys there. If Tim Ryan can get a better heat race, he'll be good. And I think the guys at Swindell Speed Lab Esports will have something in their back pocket. Obviously, they had a couple of good guys up towards the front of the field there, but I don't think that was the start they were hoping for to this 2019 campaign here for this one. So I know Kevin's got some experience at Knoxville, and he's had a lot of guys run for him down there as well. So I'm sure he'll try to put a setup on it and have these guys be more towards the front next weekend.
Going to be interesting to see who can come out and be strong for the second round of 2019's World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. But that is going to do it for us here towards round number 1. Before we let you go, got to, of course, thank everyone who makes this series possible. Dirt Vision, the World of Outlaws, and, of course, NOS Energy Drink for everything they can do and really stepping up this season, getting things to a $25,000 prize pool, and of course all the guys at iRacing as well. Hugo Louis pushing the buttons while myself and Chase Rodman yelled into our microphones at all the intense racing action tonight. Andy Werner is the one working to make the graphics you see possible and oh so beautiful, with Simon Grossman making the brilliant animations and the software behind the scenes work as well. And of course, Nick Tiston, who does our RaceSpot live timing on RaceSpotTV. Be sure to not just tune off on social media when it comes to iRacing stuff. We have a huge week coming at you over the next handful of days. Tomorrow night, we have Texas in the eNASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series, and the VRS GTE World Championship Series will be coming at you on Saturday. So we'll be going from 1 World Championship, bumping up to 3 once we get to the end of the week. Be sure to tune in for all of that and everything else, not only on iRacing's Twitch page, Facebook, but as well on the iRacing Esports Network. So from all of us here at RaceSpotTV, have yourself a good night. Bye-bye.